Good afternoon, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and I bring you all the Maze of Memories set reveal. We're going to talk about all the reprints, and we're going to talk about the top 10 most impactful cards coming out of this set, because there are 10 cards coming out of this set. Now, don't get me wrong, not all of them are meta-defying, but there is some potential on some of these cards. I felt like everyone's kind of just brushing off this set, which, warranty, yes. Most of these cards are just reprints, so, hey, why would the individual imports be any good? But there actually are some solid imports in this deck that are going to be dirt cheap at this release. I highly recommend picking them up before they go more in price. But first things first, we do got to talk about a big elephant in the room. The reprints are somewhat great and somewhat bad. We're going to talk about that. So first things first, we have the Blackwing reprints. We have the Wind-Up Cat reprint. We have the Nimble Angler reprint. We have the Mech Knight reprints. We have the Photon Hypernova reprints. And we have the Rika reprints, which is pretty solid. We also have Magician Spellbook of Fate, which is also a great reprint, and a Super Soldier Serum. But some cards were missed. I know I skipped Avermax there, but we'll get back to him. Same thing with Baron, and Ancient Fairy Tale Dragon, and Guardian Chimera. But some things were missed. For example, the $45 to $50 Photon XYZ is still very expensive. We didn't get reprints for that. Other thing that we didn't get reprints for was the other Rika monsters, the main deck Sunflower. I think that thing still needs a reprint, which kind of sucks. But overall, the reprints are solid. Let's just go straight into what I think are the most impactful cards coming out this set. And I'm super excited to go over them. So let's just get started. Alright, so first things first, we have the new Zark Trap. This card is actually kind of insane for Dynamorphia, which is a weird idea, but bear with me here. So this card, if you don't know, basically says, hey, pay half your life points, special summon Zark from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Its effects are negated and shuffle it back during the end phase. But if your opponent activates a spell card, the turn this card is engraved, you can banish the trap, tribute Zark, special summon like up to 5 dragons that are either Synchro, Fusion, XYZ, whatever, or from main deck or Pendulum, and special summon them onto the field. You can only special summon one each of each typing each. That's actually kind of insane. Just because this one card that says, hey, pay a half, special summon like 5 monsters on the field, which is kind of cool. You just cheat out a whole bunch of boss monsters. For example, I know one of the targets for Synchros is the Speedroid Omni Negate guy, the Monster Negate, who's like 3,000 attack. I forgot what his name is, but he's a really powerful monster, but it's been locked into Speedroids because it requires a wind monster. But now, in Dynamorphia, you can just cheat it out with this trap card. And it goes with the whole Dynamorphia idea of that you just want to cheat them out anyway. So this kind of works with that, which is kind of cool. I think this card is really cool and has potential and like control-based strategies. This kind of gives you like plan B if your opponent like activates spell removal. Like if your opponent's like, oh, I have Harpies. Well, shit, I don't have Judgment. Well, okay, I'll just activate in response this card, and bam, spell resolved. I banish this. I spell something like 5 from my extra deck. That's actually kind of insane. And the more and more Synchros, Fusions, XYZs that come out, the better this card gets. So be wary of this card. This card's going to be crazy. Not to mention, it's trap trickable. Alright, so now it's time to talk about a new card that people probably have underneath their radar. This is a new Trickstar spell, which has been pretty cool in the OCG. This is Teardrop, Angel of Blue Tears. This is a really powerful card for the archetype. And I want to go over it real quick. So first things first, this card says target one face-up monster on the field. Its controller takes 200 damage for each card in their hand. Vindicate the effects of monster effects until the end of that turn, which is kind of insane. And then if either player takes effect damage, except during the damage step, banish this card from your graveyard, set one normal trap directly from your hand or deck, and if it was set from the hand, it is activated this turn. You only use this effect of Angel of Blue Tears once per turn. That's a pretty solid effect, I'm not going to lie. This is a very powerful card. The fact that it says, hey, if you equip it to an opponent's monster, uh, that player cannot activate effects and then they get burned for every card in their hand, which is kind of insane. And is also just a really, really cool card in general. So we'll just have to see where it goes. But it's definitely cool for Trickstar. And I definitely want to see where it goes from there. Alright, so now it's time to talk about a new Infernity card. This card is called Creepy Little Punk. This card's actually kind of insane for the archetype. Basically what it does is it allows you to special summon one Infernity monster from your hand, from your grave, or from your banish zone. And basically, it's just a free reborn, which is kind of insane. It helps get Infinities that are stuck in hand out of your hand. Also, if an Infernity monster will be destroyed by battle or card effect, while this card is engraved, you can just send it to your side of the field. It's a really, really cool and interesting card, especially when we got all that new Infernity stuff about a year or two ago. And I really do think Infernity have the potential for greatness. If they keep getting cards like this, who knows what they can do. Now, this card's definitely been out in the OCG for a bit now. I don't think Infernity did anything there. But who knows? Maybe if Launcher or any other Infernity monsters go to 3 or move at least to 2, maybe we have some potential to see Infernity back in the meta. Now, personally, I don't recommend that because, hey, no one wants to sit between a combo deck that sets like 4 to 5 interruptions, especially when 2 or 3 of them are literally just Omni Negates that are counter traps, so you can't respond to them. So we'll just have to see. Overall, a really, really cool card. We'll just have to go from there. Alright, so now it's time to talk about a new card, Ready, Set, Duel. This card is crazy for Synchron-based strategies. This card basically reads, hey, if you control no monsters, just add any Synchro monster from your deck to hand, or it's Synchron monster. And then basically, this card, as a continuous spell, it says you put counters on it. And then if you get it to 2 counters, you can send this card to grave, draw 2. This card's actually pretty insane for the archetype, and I can't wait to see how Synchro decks evolve from here. Don't get me wrong, you still lose the Nibiru, but this card is pretty much just says, hey, I'm guaranteed consistency, play me at 3, which is kind of nice, so we'll just have to see how it goes from there. But this card's absolutely insane, and I want to see this deck get broken. So you tell me in the comments if Ready, Set, Duel is going to be able to shake this deck into the meta. Or it will just flop like every other card. Alright, so now it's time to talk about Utopia Rising. I think this card is actually pretty insane. And basically, the reason why I think this card's insane is just because of this effect that's kind of cuckoo. So basically what it does is that when you XYZ summon this card, and you have an XYZ engrave, you can basically detach materials from this card, reborn the XYZ that's engraved as long as it was properly summoned, and then attach this card as material, which is pretty insane. And then it has the effect while this card's engraved, basically you can then special summon it. But this card doesn't say when this card's XYZ summoned, you get to do the whole reborn XYZ attach this card to material. This card says when it's on special summon, meaning this card's an infinite XYZ reborn every turn, as long as you just get material on field, which is kind of crazy. The fact that this card just says, hey, if you kill my boss monster, cool, whatever. I'll reborn it with this card. Oh, you killed it again? Oh, that's fine. This card's engraved. I'll make another XYZ. This comes back, reborns the XYZ you killed for the second time, and put this as a material. It keeps coming, dude. This card's actually kind of sick, not to mention the artwork is pretty amazing for a rank 4. I really think we have some huge potential with this card. It does require a number, so who cares? That's a Utopia deck's wet dream. But overall, you tell me in the comments that this card's crazy. I think it is. Alright, so now it's time to talk about the new Hero Fusion, which is great for OTKing. This card is actually pretty sick. So this only requires 1 Hero Fusion plus a Warrior monster. This card gains attack equal to the number of warriors or just the number of monsters used for it as material. Also, this card basically also gains like 300 attack for every material, which is pretty insane. When this card attacks a monster, immediately destroy it, which is crazy. This card is a wombo combo of helping you push through so many monsters. That's ridiculous. Not to mention when it dies, it special summons a hero from your deck, which is pretty insane. This card shows all the heroes coming out, all the elemental heroes, by the way. And I think it's really solid. This card, it has beautiful artwork, amazing effects to help push for game, and overall this card's pretty amazing. It's not really a destructive tool. It's more like, hey, I'm pushing for game. I want to make this guy and just kill you, which is pretty awesome. So I'm really glad this card is amazing, and we'll just have to see where it goes for heroes. Alright, so now we gotta talk about the new Gate Guardian cards. Now, originally I was just gonna talk about them all as a whole, but personally I don't think any of them have the potential to be meta, except this card in particular. This card is actually kind of crazy for what it does. It does require basically the earth one, and well, technically it's the wind and the water one to make it, but it's basically a double spell negation, which is pretty insane. Not to mention, the monsters that you use to make these guys are like level 7s. So there's some weird Kashtira mixing to do. I saw a whole MBT video on it. I don't think it'll be that great, but if some mad genius can figure out how to easily summon this thing and Kashtira, this card kind of solves the biggest issue with that archetype. And the fact that they don't have negation. They can make some stupid boards, but right now it's fair just due to the fact that, hey, they don't make any negation. So Book of Eclipse and like Dark Ruler and Well, Dark Ruler still beats this card, but like Lightning Storm and other cards like that kind of just kill Kashtira. But if this card's made, you have double spell negation, which is kind of insane. So imagine the board you already have with Kashtira with this guy on the field. Now, maybe there's a way to cheat him out that you don't have to fusion summon him. Maybe some Waking Dragon shenanigans or whatever. Or the new guy is a level 7, so who knows? So we'll just have to see. And what are we talking about? I'm talking about the main deck level 7 guy. The little drill dude. That card's actually pretty sick. And who knows? You can normal summon it. Maybe there is some plays you can do. We'll just have to find out. Alright, so now it's time to talk about the new spell Overweight Network. I think this has been in the OCG for a bit now. I could be mistaken. But this card is actually pretty sick. So basically what it does is that you can activate one of these effects. Either target one face-up monster you control that has a level. Special summon one monster with the same level from your hand or graveyard in defense position, but its effects are negated. You can't special summon for the rest of the turn except XYZs for the rest of this turn. And then it also has the effect target one XYZ monster control, add one card attached to it to your hand. So basically it says, hey, you detach material from your XYZ to add it back to hand, which is pretty sick. It's just a really good card in general. I can definitely see this in XYZ based strategies, and I really do think this card has potential. Same thing with the Utopic guy. These two cards can definitely push Utopic into the meta. I really do believe so. We'll just have to see. And you're probably thinking, what the hell is Utopic? Well, that deck is a really combo-heavy XYZ-based spam deck. And this card, plus the Utopic Rising card that we went over, definitely pushed this deck up a tier. I don't know that it's into the meta tier, but we'll just have to see and find out. Alright, so now it's time to talk about Performapal Extraordinaire. This card's actually pretty insane for Performapal based strategies. It is a 8 scale that has 2 effects. First effect is the Pendulum effect, where once a turn at the start of dare step, if a monster battles another monster, return this card to your hand, and if you do, banish one spell from your deck. Also, your monster can't be destroyed by battle. Also, battle damage you take is halved. Really cool, interesting card, but that's not the important part. The important part is the monster effect. When this card inflicts damage to your opponent, add one Supreme King monster or Supreme King Gate monster or Supreme King Soul monster from your deck to hand. And once a turn during each standby phase, this card is activated, each player banishes one spell from their deck, and once a turn, if a monster declares an attack, activate this effect, the attack player can apply this effect, add one of their banished spells from their deck to hand, then discard it. And if you do, negate the attack. Really interesting card. We'll just have to see what the potential is. But We'll just have to find out. I think this card has really great potential. It is a Performance Palette 8 scale, so we'll see some play. We'll just have to go from there. Alright, so now it's time to talk about the final card we just got. Accel Synchron is definitely the most push card we're getting. This card's basically a free Baron on your opponent's turn. This card's kind of insane. Quick synchros into a Stardust and then reborns a level 2 from Grave. And then that level 2 then quick synchros into a Baron. Really powerful card, and I can't wait to see the potential this card has for very base synchro strategies. It's going to push Synchron to the limit, but I think it has potential in other decks as well. And it doesn't only have to special summon out Baron. It also summon out Satellite Warrior. There's a whole bunch of different targets you could be playing. And this card is kind of insane. Out of all the cards, this is like the new Baron, kind of. Just because this card cheats out Baron. And when I mean by Baron, it's not... It's basically the new hype synchro that if people are going to buy this set, they're buying it for this card. Because this card is pretty insane. So we'll just have to see. Anyway, that's it for the video. Those are my top 10 cards coming out of this set. Let me know if I missed anything. But I really do think there is potential in this set. Even though it is a little lackluster overall. I probably won't be buying a box. I'll probably just be looking for singles and going from there. But you tell me in the comments, if you think these cards are overhyped, if you think that there's a potential card I missed, let me know. Anyway, take care. Don't do anything stupid, and I'll see you all in the next one. And the Punk video is coming back. I just haven't made it yet. Take care.